South Africa is what, 75% black? Is that correct? 80%? Maybe
Yeah,
more?
that's right.
Right. And so explain to me, like post-apartheid, outside of the land ownership, maybe there's a business element. Why is it that once apartheid was removed, why black South Africans were not able to see their material economic net worth go up in the last 20 or 30 years? What do you think there's any, and maybe I don't know enough, are there any cultural inhibitions of a defeatist attitude that has basically, let's say, infected the minds of poor South Africans last 20 years that feel as if they can't accumulate wealth? Do you think that plays a factor?
Yeah, I think what's really infected black South Africans is pretty much going back to what we're talking about. Obviously, from the colonial background that I just gave you, and we see a lot of like neo-colonialism, you control the supply chains, and you own 72% of agricultural farmland. How do you expect the majority black people to improve their lives and their outcomes when you pretty much control everything?
Enough. And so this is a sloppy but best example I can give. Is that fair? I'll do it. So just grant me some mercy here. What percentage of American land is owned by Asians?
Not sure.
Yeah, less than 3%. They are the richest racial group in America. So maybe land ownership isn't the only thing that matters to get wealthy. Land is basically all owned by white people in America, okay? Yet Asians, Indians are by far the richest group. So why is it that this particular group that happens to own the land and the supply chains, and we've admitted it's very hard to run this land, very hard to run this idea of farming in South Africa, it feels to me, I could be wrong, that it's a group of resentment-driven politics towards a group of people that own land instead of opportunity and empowerment-based politics, talking to the black majority about how they could build a better life for themselves instead of taking away other people's stuff. I don't know South African law enough. I don't know if it's a free market-based. I really don't. I'm not just playing cute. But as a general operating principle, it's very bad to build a political movement around taking other people's stuff because you're obsessed with what you don't have instead of the mental energy to create what you want and what you think you deserve. So my postulation, and I'm glad you admitted it, don't say kill the Boers. Bad, we should say that. It has created real deaths and real harm. If I was in charge, which of course I'm not, I would spend all my time not saying kill the Boer. I would say, my people, get your act together. Let's work harder. Let's prove the Boer wrong. Let's start a business. Let's build families. One is driven in resentment and greed and envy and confiscation, and one is rooted in creation and entrepreneurship and optimism. I'd like to see the latter.
I don't want to live in that country. I do not want to live in South Africa. I don't want to live in a resentment, bitterness country where I have to drive around in armored cars all the time and I can't leave my house after 10 p.m.
Especially, we don't even know who lives here.
Well, that's a whole other component.
No, but I'm just saying that makes it more volatile. So if there is a severe economic contraction, and of course at some point there will be, you're not going to have a civilian conservation corps. It's like, because the country's inherently not united and citizens have nothing in common with each other. And like,
we're a nation of strangers.
Who am I?
Like, I'm sorry, if I see a black pilot, I'm going to be like, boy, I hope he's qualified.
When blacks in America did not have the same rights they had today, they were less murderous, there was less break-ins. Why is that? And the data shows they were actually better in the 1940s. It was bad, it was evil, but what happened?
A certain skin color now gets their own summertime celebration. Oh, wow, look how far blacks have come. It has now become a racial complaining day. Remember what BLM stands for: burn, loot, and murder.
Yeah, DEI stands for
one of the biggest.
Didn't earn it, just so we're clear.
Can we also acknowledge, due to the laws under Jim Crow, that black people were significantly hindered from economic advancement?
This is a really important question. The data shows not really. Black Americans are poorer today in 2024 than they were in the 1950s. The disappearance of the black father has been the #1 driver of black poverty in this country. At least agree that black dads not being around is a bad thing.
Anyone's father not being around is a bad thing. Starting in the 1980s and continuing onward, there's been a war on drugs. Is this correct?
I like the war on drugs. Blacks commit more crimes than whites do.
How do you want to be remembered?
I mean, if I die?
Everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith in my life.
Charlie Kirk, thank you so much.
You
for
guys do a great job. I wish you could.
How do you want to be remembered?
I mean, if I die?
Everything just goes away. How would you, if you could be associated with one thing, how would you want to be remembered?
I want to be remembered for courage for my faith. That would be the most important thing. The most important thing is my faith in my life.
Charli Kirk, the 31-year-old conservative activist and co-founder of Turning Point USA, was fatally shot Wednesday during a public speaking event at Utah Valley University marking a grim escalation in incidents of political violence. Kirk was on campus for what was billed as part of his American comeback tour, speaking at the Prove Me Wrong table, a format he often used where audience members to engage directly with him over political and cultural issues. And now, you guys, I did post about 2 or 3 videos of him. In the first video, of course, he talks about a country of South Africa, saying that he will never visit or stay in South Africa, and cite the reason being, people would randomly be shot on the streets because it is not a safe country. You guys, now a lot of people have came for him in the comment section now that he has passed away. A lot of South Africans, to be specific, they have said, "Oh, you died in the United States of America, where supposedly you were supposed to be safe, unlike the South Africa that you tarnished the name," you guys. And in the other video which I inserted, he talks about what he wanted to be remembered as. He says that he wanted to be remembered as a man of God, a Christian, because he was a man of God despite being hated by almost half of Americans. We did see a lot of videos coming out whereby Black Americans and white Americans did come onto TikTok to share their reaction regarding him being gunned down. And a lot, let me just say 90% of the videos which are posted on TikTok are that of people celebrating his unfortunate death, you guys. Now, Kirk's death not only deprives conservative cycle of one of their most vocal and visible organizers, it also raises urgent questions about the security at public political events, the state of civil disclosure in discourse in America, and how we guard against acts of violence in volatile times. Kirk is survived by his wife Erica and their 2 young children. Of course, guys, we do send out our deepest and sincere condolences to his family, his loved ones. May his soul just rest in peace.